start off. I heard you guys wanted to do a tutorial on this little template I made for YouTube. Let me check it out. It's this one right here. So a lot of people ask me to do a tutorial on this. How did I make this wall, and how did it look so good? And just we're gonna make this little thing in After Effects, and I'll show you how to do it. We are basically gonna do the first two scenes, like with this wall we're gonna make. So yeah, just let's start. Before you do anything, I really recommend you should download this script, PT Shift Layers, from escripts.com. I really want to shout out to that guys. It's an awesome script here. It's only $9.99 and it's really useful. So alright, let's go into After Effects. So now in After Effects we're gonna make a new composition. It's Command N or Control N, the way you want it, and let's make it about 15 seconds or something. Alright, so this is our head comp. Alright, now we're just gonna make another composition. Hit Command N or Control N, or even if you want to do it the large way, you can go to Composition, New Composition, and just hit OK. And we're gonna make it, instead of 1920 by 1080, we're gonna make it 1080 by 1080, so it's a square. Alright, so we're gonna call this, we're gonna call this block. Alright, so now we're gonna make a new solid layer. So hit Command Y or Control Y, or just go to Layer, New, Solid. You see this? Really useful. Alright, and we're just gonna call this block again, and make sure it's white, really white. Alright, so hit OK, and we're still gonna make a new composition, and this one is called let's make it wall placeholder, like this. Hit OK, and we're simply going to drag the block composition inside the wall placeholder composition, like this. Alright, we're also going to scale it down to, let's say, 20, or yeah, just leave it like this. Alright, and just simply drag it up here. Alright, and we're gonna make some duplications. So what do we want? We want 4 by 4 maybe, so we have to have 16 layers, like this, and we're just gonna simply drag them a little bit, so that they can alright, just make a nice little grid like this, and another one like this. Alright, so now the next thing we're going to do is align them a little bit. I have it already here, but if you don't have the align set up like this, you go to Window and make sure the align is set like this. Alright, so now we're going to select all these compositions and align them in a way it's like this. Oh, maybe we should just, no, just like this then, and this is always really nice. Alright, and now we're just gonna go to this and just align them properly. Alright, like this. Alright, so now we got a nice little grid like this. Alright, so when you want to fill out the spacing a little bit more, you may want to add the scale a little bit like this. Make it, let's say 22 would be fine. So we got a nice little grid going on like this. Alright, the next thing we're gonna do is select all your layers and make sure the 3D box is checked like this. Alright, so now we got this, these all checked, and what we can basically do now is to rotate them in 3D space. So I can really just, you see, like this, whoops, can really rotate them. So that's also what we're gonna do. So hit the X rotation keyframe right here and just go 1 second in time and set this to 180. We also gonna make sure this is ease, so we're gonna make an easy ease out of Command Shift F9 or Control Shift F9, whether you're on Windows or Mac, and we're gonna make this easy in. And the next thing we're gonna do is go to the graph editor right here. We're just gonna simply drag these up a little bit just so that it gets eased up a little bit smoother. So see, it just gets turned really nice, you see. Whoop. Alright, so after that we're just gonna move this a little bit forward in time to say about 5 seconds here. We're gonna paste them, so Control C or Command C, and we're gonna paste them in all the other layers. So you see, every layer has now this property. So when I move forward, every single block is turning like this. Alright, so the next thing we need to do is randomize them a little bit so that not every block gets turned the same way. So what we need to do is just make sure this is a little bit larger now. We're just gonna simply just place them everywhere you want and make sure they are randomized a little bit like this. Alright, let's make sure this one's here, this one there, just like that. Alright, so now they really randomized it. So now for the next part we're gonna move on to the PT shift layers, what I told you earlier. Else you have to manually just drag them up like this, you'll see, but when you don't have the script you just have to manually do it, but we'll do it by using a script. So we select all the layers right here, go to File, Scripts, and hit PT shift layers. We're gonna select Stagger these layers and maybe like 5 frames each. Alright, just hit apply. And you see what it does is actually basically it makes all these little layers go in, just 5 frames behind each other in time. So this one is already showing, but we want to show them all. So all we need to do is just simply drag them up here till the first keyframe, maybe a little bit earlier like this. So, and now you see everything is just randomly turning. Alright, really cool. So this is actually the basic setup. So what we need to do now is go inside the head composition where we just make the scene. So what we're gonna do is import the wall placeholder composition like this, and we're actually gonna duplicate one, and we call this the wall head comp. So alright, so we're gonna duplicate this one and we just simply drag it up all the way till here like this, and make sure this one is at the bottom, and we are simply gonna do this also. So we got now 3 compositions set up like this. Alright, so the middle composition, we're gonna make sure that this is our head comp, or wall head comp. So just select them both and hit Alt and simply drag the wall head comp onto the wall placeholder composition, the middle one. Alright, like this. So when I turn this off, the middle one should disappear like this. Alright, so now we're just gonna make some nice little scene setup, like add some light. So layer, new light, and basically what I want to have is maybe like a little bluish light like this. Set it up to 100 and hit OK. Light should be on a 3D composition, so make sure that these are checked and that also these are checked, because this is really important for making them turn into 3D space. Alright, so now the light composition works also, and we're just gonna simply set up the scene a little bit. So we're just gonna drag it up like this, and maybe this looks a little bit cool, nice. Alright, and we're gonna make another light, so layer, new light, and maybe we'll make this a little bit orangish like this. Alright, so that should be cool, right? 2 nice colors. Really nice. Alright. So, now when I move forward in time, you see, it gets really randomized like this. Really cool. Alright. So, the next thing we're gonna do is make a new camera. Make a new camera, just make it 50 millimeters, that's just fine. And we're gonna make a new null object. Make sure that at the null object the 3D mark is set like this, and we're gonna take this button and drag that to the null object. So basically every setting that the camera has is now connected to the null object. So when I hit the R button, and I just rotate this, you see everything inside the composition should be turning around. Alright, so we're just gonna make sure that the position keyframe, the X, Y, and Z rotation keyframes, and maybe even the scale is keyframed, and we're gonna move forward in time to say where the animation stops. So no, wait, we're just first gonna make sure that we make the scene. So we're just gonna put on the Y rotation, and maybe just put it up a little bit like this, yeah. Alright, so, and now simply go forward in time and say about 5.5 seconds we want it to end. So we'll do it like this. Alright. So now when I move, you see, every block gets turned around. Really nice. Alright. Cool. So these are the basic settings. What we can do to make it a little bit more interesting is add a little bit of depth of field. So you go to camera options, make sure the depth of field is checked to on, and we're gonna set the aperture level a little bit up to about, say, 120, and make sure the focus distance is way lower, make it about 1500, or maybe even lower, make it 900, and now you see you really got that going on. You can just play with these settings, you know, just to get a little bit of the goods, vibrations like this. Really cool. Alright, nice. Alright, so Also gonna add this a little bit of easing, and make sure that this one in the graph editor is also so. You see? Alright, really cool. Actually, we wanted to have it on this frame right here, because this is our frame what we're going to use for the text that we're going to show. See? Really nice. Alright, maybe I'll just drag it up a little bit more. And also make sure that the depth of field, the focus distance is different. So we're just going to set it up a little bit more like this, so that it's focused really on this area right here. So, you see? Really nice. Alright. So now the next thing we're going to do is make sure there's text on this little box right here. So remember when we made a head comp from the wall and a wall placeholder? Well, we go inside the wall head comp like this, and we're just going to check in the head comp which one is the board that's flipping. That's this one, you see here. Whoops, it flipped. So that should be this one. This one is now flipping. So it's this layer right here. So we're gonna make sure that the block composition is also duplicated. So go to Edit, Duplicate, and this is your block 2 section. So exactly at the midpoint where it's flipping from here to here, there is where we're gonna make sure that the text is appearing. So duplicate this composition, this one, Command D or Control D, and make sure that this one is stopped at this frame, and the block 2 composition is stopped at this frame. So we're gonna make this duplication what we made earlier. We're gonna simply drag it to this one, and then it should be fine. So at this time, this composition stops and this one goes. So we can put whatever we want to in this composition, like text or something, and it will appear on this screen. So just go inside this composition, double click on it like this, and we're just gonna add some text. Let's say, hello YouTube. Alright. Hello YouTube. Alright. So, the next thing we need to do is make sure that the scale is set to -100 and the rotation is set to 180. Just do it, you'll see this will work out because the board flips 180 degrees, so the text will come out just fine now. So you see, now it should be there, and when it goes, you see the whoops, and it's there. Hello YouTube. So now what we're gonna do is just go back into the head composition, make sure that it's, and when you move forward in time, it flips around and says hello YouTube. Really cool. Really cool. Alright, so yeah, sure. Now we're just gonna make a little bit of extra nice things to make it really cool. So what we're gonna do is add a background like this. We call it BG, and drag it up to here, and you see automatically it's white, but I don't like white that much in this composition. So what I'm gonna do is go to effects and presets, hit in, let's say ramp, or you can use a full color gradient if you want to, and just make this one like really dark bluish, and this one almost gray like this. So that's not fine, just make it black. Alright, and we're also gonna add a new adjustment layer. Simply drag it up all the way to here and add some noise to it. So noise, make it about 5. See, and it just adds these little raw things here. I like that a lot. So and we also gonna add some curves just for the coloring, and make sure that it's not too much. So like this, and then the red comes out a little bit, and then the green, and I want to make sure that the blue is really staggering out like this. So, and then we got a nice little composition like this. Maybe the coloring is too much, but you can play with it. So, all right. So I hope you guys like this tutorial, and I'll see them coming. Alright, have fun you guys. Nice.